Hi, Movie Explainer here. Our story kicks off with Martin, a once-upon-a-time publisher-turned-village baker, slaving away in his dad's bakery. It's a quaint village in France where the scent of freshly baked bread wafts through the air. Martin, unfortunately, overcooked his loaves, earning him a scolding from his wife, the co-pilot of the bakery ship. Martin replies that he can't shake off thoughts of Gemma and Charlie. His wife, being the no-nonsense manager, scolds him for letting his mind wander to matters beyond dough and yeast. Later, Martin pays a visit to his neighbor Charlie, who is in a rage and setting his wife's clothes on fire. As Charlie storms off to grab more clothes, Martin seizes the opportunity to snag Charlie's wife's personal diary from the bucket. Sneaky Martin. Back home, under the cover of night, Martin cracks open the diary like a literary safecracker, and just like that, we're whisked away into a flashback. Gemma and Charlie, the stars of our pre-arson tale, are basking in the glow of newlywed bliss. It's all sunshine and rainbows until we learn Charlie is on round 2 of matrimonial adventures, trying to escape the persistent calls of his first wife. Solution: pack up and move to a cozy French village. They are now in the same village where Martin already lives. Martin extends a warm welcome and greets them with the charm only a French village baker can muster. With a generous offer to assist them whenever needed, he becomes the village's go-to guy for anything from baguettes to neighborly favors. Days pass and lo and behold, Gemma and Charlie, the newcomers, decide to grace Martin's bakery with their presence. Little do they know, they've just entered the bakery of desire, where the aroma of freshly baked bread is not the only thing that's rising. Gemma's beauty casts a spell on our baker, leaving him completely captivated. However, he keeps his emotions to himself. A few days after their initial encounter, Martin and Gemma find themselves crossing paths on the village streets. The atmosphere is ripe with the promise of sweet conversations and perhaps a dash of flirtation. As they stroll along the charming village lanes, Martin, ever the suave conversationalist, reveals a bit of his past life as a Parisian publisher. With a twinkle in his eye, he shares a tantalizing tidbit about a famous novel that just so happens to feature characters with the same Bovary surname as Gemma and Charlie. Coincidence? That very night, fate caused the electricity at Gemma's house to go on strike. Who better to call than Martin, the neighborhood handyman? As he arrives to fix the issue, sparks fly not just from the electrical wires, but also between our characters. The evening unfolds into a dinner and drinks affair, with both couples breaking bread together. Yet, in this cozy setting, Martin's focus remains laser-sharp on Gemma. Gemma, now a regular at Martin's bakery, finds herself immersed in a doughy world of temptation. Martin extends an invitation to peek behind the bakery curtain and witness the magic of his tasty bread-making process. Gemma accepts the invitation and steps into the aromatic haven of flour and warmth. As she tries her hand at crafting her own loaf, the kitchen becomes a canvas for culinary exploration. Yet, in the heat of the moment, both literally and figuratively, Gemma decides to shed her sweater, unintentionally turning the kitchen into a theater for Martin's longing gaze. Fast forward to another day, and Gemma visits a friend's home. The friend, wielding the weapon of friendly banter, suggests that Gemma might want to watch her figure with all those delectable treats. This comment hits Gemma, prompting her to embark on a health-conscious journey involving yoga and reduced food consumption. In the aftermath of her newfound fitness quest, Gemma's bakery visits have become less frequent. Martin senses a shift in Gemma's behavior and wonders if it's connected to that fateful day in the kitchen. He bravely asks Gemma about the change in her routine. Gemma, however, attributes it to a diet overhaul and bids Martin farewell. But fate, with its theatrical flair, intervenes. An insect, perhaps a harbinger of destiny, makes its way into Gemma's top, delivering a surprise sting. In distress, Gemma calls for Martin's help. Martin rushes to her aid, swiftly dealing with the poisonous intruder. He informs Gemma that he needs to suck out the poison. Gemma agrees, and Martin finds himself in a surreal scenario. Herve stumbles upon Martin and Gemma during the unexpected incident with the poisonous insect. His innocent inquiry quickly turns into concern when Gemma faints due to the poison. Together, they tuck her into a van and rush her to the hospital, where, after a bit of examination, Gemma regains consciousness. Exhausted and grateful, Gemma leans on Martin's shoulder, sending an unintentional but powerful vibe that perhaps her interest lies beyond mere gratitude. The plot thickens when Martin discovers Gemma chatting with Herve. Jealousy takes root in his heart as he witnesses what he perceives as a shared interest between them. The memory of the novel's storyline resurfaces, causing Martin to question the unfolding events. His discomfort grows when he spots Gemma and Herve in the supermarket, and it reaches its peak when Gemma heads to Herve's house. Moreover, Martin notices a love bite around Gemma's neck, and he begins to accept the possibility that Gemma may be interested in Herve. The days pass and Martin encounters Herve again, this time sensing a hint of sadness. In an unexpected turn, Martin suggests Herve spend time with someone close to his heart to alleviate stress. Little does he know, Herve takes this advice to heart and invites Gemma into his world, where lovey-dovey moments blossom. A week later, despite Martin's knowledge of Gemma's affair with Herve, he remains silent and treats her as usual when she visits the bakery. However, a forgotten bread packet becomes the catalyst for a heart-wrenching revelation. As Martin arrives at Gemma's house to deliver the bread, he overhears declarations of love and witnesses tender moments between Gemma and Herve. Martin is all heartbroken and finds himself caught in the crossfire of love and betrayal. Martin has grown accustomed to Gemma heading to Herve's place in Charlie's absence. One day Gemma, draped in a flowing suit, stepped into Herve's domain. As the long suit comes off, it's clear that this isn't just a casual visit. Passion ignites and the two find solace in each other's company. However, in the midst of their intimate escapade, disaster strikes a statue, a memento of Herve's mother shatters. Herve, typically composed, suddenly finds himself on shaky ground. Gemma, realizing with a calm demeanor, assures Herve that she'll mend the broken pieces, not with her hands but by entrusting the task to her husband. This lifts the weight off his shoulders and he reassures Gemma of his love. The duo decides to escape the village and embark on a journey to the UK, leaving behind village gossip. However, in the shadows of the night, Martin, fueled by a toxic cocktail of rage and jealousy, takes pen to paper. Posing as Herve, he crafts a deceitful letter, pretending to sever ties with Gemma. The phone remains unanswered, creating a cruel illusion of betrayal. Gemma, heartbroken and confused, grapples with the idea that Herve used her and then discarded her. On the flip side, Herve confronts his mother, providing a detailed account of the shattered statue and Charlie's role in fixing it. Later, his mother drops the bomb, they're leaving the village for Paris. Herve relays this news to Gemma, who now faces the wreckage of her love life. Herve's mother, on a mission to reclaim her statue, reaches out to Charlie. Surprisingly, Charlie denies ever receiving such a statue for repair. Herve's mother accuses him of selling the valuable artwork, but Martin denies this and heads home. There, Gemma, eager to share her side of the story, approaches him. However, Charlie, tired of being ignored by Gemma, decides to play his exit card and jets off to the UK for some convenient work. Left alone, Gemma is distraught, grappling with the realization that she may have unwittingly betrayed her devoted husband. One day, Martin comes to Gemma's house with her lost dog. Gemma seizes the moment, asking him to read a French letter she received. As the contents unfold, it's a notice from Herve's mom accusing Charlie of pilfering her precious statue. Gemma, seeking justice, urges Martin to draft a reply. However, Martin, succumbing to the temptations around him, excuses himself, promising to return in a day or two with the written response. The very next day, she calls Martin to meet her at the church. On this eventful day, enter Patrick, Gemma's ex-boyfriend. Patrick approaches Gemma with compliments, praising her timeless beauty. However, she's done with the whole extramarital affair circus. Meanwhile, poor Martin, who's been patiently twiddling his thumbs at the church, finally decides to swing by Gemma's house. Upon reaching there, he finds Gemma locking lips with Patrick. Cue the shocked gasp and an angry exit stage left. However, that kiss wasn't exactly a romantic rendezvous. Gemma, in the midst of the smooch, is regretting every second of it. Later that fateful day, Gemma, amidst her house chores, stumbles upon that statue at home, a symbolic reminder that Charlie was aware of her involvement with Herve. Overwhelmed with guilt, Gemma decides to spill her heart out to Charlie. In a heartfelt phone call, she promises never to let such a mess happen again and declares Charlie as the only man in her heart. Charlie, being a forgiving soul, melts at her sincerity and decides to give their relationship a fresh start. But wait, there's more drama on the horizon. Martin, the misunderstood hero, finally makes his way to Gemma's house. Gemma, apologetic for missing church, engages in a heart-to-heart with Martin. The truth spills out as Martin reveals that he orchestrated the letter drama because he feared Gemma's fate mirrored that of Mrs. Bovary in the novel. He just didn't want her to meet a tragic end. The realization of Martin's genuine concern leads to a tender moment, and they share a kiss that might just rewrite their story. The next morning, enter Patrick, the man of unforeseen consequences. Things take an unexpected turn when Charlie arrives at the same time. After a brief confrontation, Charlie rushes to Martin's house and drags him to Gemma's home. To his shock, he finds Gemma lifeless on the floor. Martin assumes Gemma took her own life, aligning with the novel's tragic ending. However, the post-mortem reveals a mundane yet tragic truth: death by choking on a piece of bread. Patrick admits that his actions during the bread incident played a part, but Charlie believes it's his fault for misinterpreting the situation as Patrick making love with Gemma. Fast forward to the present. Martin finishes reading Gemma's diary and heads for dinner. While having food, he comes to know that a new young couple has moved into the neighborhood. Martin, ready to embrace a new chapter, heads over to greet them. And that, my friends, concludes the whirlwind of love, betrayal, and unexpected twists in Gemma's world. I hope you enjoyed the recap. If you did, smash that like button. And if you're not part of the VIP squad yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe now, because at the Movie Explainer, our subscribers aren't just viewers, they're the VIP of our recap world.